All right, everyone. Unhappy Wednesday. Once again, coming to you live from our humble abode this week. This is the Unhappy Gilmore Show, powered by Green Legion Radio and part of the Green Legion Radio family. We thank you, as always, for joining us from wherever you may be and whatever service you're using to tune in. So please pull up a chair, turn up the volume, use the company dime if you're still stuck at work, crack open a cold one if you've got the opportunity, and let's have some fun as we put an end to day 3 of this week's hostage situation and look forward to tomorrow being Friday Eve. I don't know about the rest of you. I don't know what the weather's like in Philadelphia or anywhere else. I haven't looked. It is hot as all get out here. Probably, I think it was 96 degrees today. I believe our high tomorrow is 100. And that's like not heat index or anything like that, just 100 degrees. And I work in a warehouse operation. In Ohio, you are not required to have air conditioning in said operations. So tomorrow's going to be brutal. Friday, not much better. But then the almighty weekend is upon us. Lou Mancini in the room. What's up, brother? I can smell Friday. Brother, I can always smell Friday. Keaton Harmon. WTF. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Damn right. Can't wait for that. Andrew Bagley, good evening, everyone. Phil's down 4-2, top of the 7th. Again, just inconsistent play out of that Phillies team. You know, the big walk-off, and, well, there's some real professional there, Adam. Make sure you turn your freaking ringer off before you start the show. All right, let's get that on vibrate. Yeah, inconsistent play out of the Phillies. But, hey, look, at least you're getting decent play out of them. For those of you that follow me on Facebook, if you saw the video that the Facebook Live I did this morning on my way to work, I kind of took care of the Yankees rant a little bit. Did it early in the morning, so I was like still a little subdued. I know the video was kind of dark and stuff, but I think the point came across pretty well. Who else is in the room? Lou Mancini, 76 here right now. Well, you know what, dude? You can just keep that to yourself, okay? Because it's still like 95 here. And David Connett, you sure that's Friday smell? Keenan Harmon, Phillies better than the Stankies. Oh, you damn right. They are. The Yankees are absolutely atrocious. There is no excuse for it. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Not so much about the Yankees, but I kind of tried to take care of that this morning, but something that happened over the weekend between the Yankees and the Red Sox. But we'll get to that. Anyways, let's get to business. One thing first. For all of you who hung with us last Wednesday, I appreciate it. I know that wasn't the easiest watch or follow or whatever. We did have some Wi-Fi issues at the back porch. You look to us for some fun and entertainment, maybe to break up your day, or maybe you need a few laughs or whatever. And I felt like we didn't deliver that last week. No fault of anyone. Wi-Fi issues are going to happen. It's happened here at home, and last week it happened at the back porch. I'm sure Mike will get all that straightened out, and we'll be ready to roll back over there. If not, I do plan to go up there and test using my mobile hotspot on my phone just to see if that'll work. Either way, I think we'll be fine. But again, I want to thank everyone who hung with us last week. I know the show was the shortest show that we've done since the Unhappy Gilmore show started. And a lot of that was just due to the Max Headroom look. So I'm hoping we're a little bit more clean tonight. And we can have some fun. We'll be back at the back porch maybe next week. Anyways, let's get down to business. Folks, if you're tuning in on Facebook or Twitter, please do not forget to like, follow, share, and subscribe to the Green Legion. If those services are where you are comfortable, we totally get it. But just keep in mind that the best and easiest way to interact with both the room and us is to use the YouTube channel. So do us a favor, even if you're more comfortable on your Facebook, on your Twitter, or whatever, go ahead over to YouTube, search the Green Legion, hit your subscribe button, hit your little bell for notifications, and please make sure to share that everywhere on all social media platforms. If you cannot watch our shows live, it's perfectly fine. You can always catch us later on any of the services previously mentioned, but also on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Bud Light Baseball Brunch every Sunday, 11 a.m. to noon. Don't forget, all of you Philly fans, as the season starts to wind down, we are getting to the end of August here. You get the final push coming in the month of September. Still the number one wild card spot for your Phils. The inconsistent play probably needs to clean itself up, and I would think you'd like to see more out of Aaron Nola at some point, or at least on a more consistent basis. But right now, you're sitting in the driver's seat for that number one wild card spot. I mean, I think you guys all know you weren't going to catch the Braves. The Braves, when they're clicking, probably the best team in baseball. But to cover you on all your Phillies talk, Greg Murphy and Chris Sack every Sunday, Bud Light Baseball Brunch down at Xfinity Live, and also streaming through the Green Legion StreamYard on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, and on 102.5 Fox Sports The Gambler there in Philadelphia. As far as your Green Legion invasions, I keep bringing it up every week, and like I keep saying, we will continue to bring it up. If there is a trip that you are thinking about, jump on it. Don't wait. For those of you that thought you were going to jump in late on Tampa Bay, you are screwed. You are out of luck as far as travel packages, and you have been for I think it's the better part of a month now. The travel packages are sold out. There are still game day packages available. Great deals. Okay, I'm going to read them off to you now. If you're looking at Tampa Bay, self-travel down there, you'd have to get your own hotel, but the game day experience with the Green Legion is always top-notch. Here are your prices. For ticket to the game, the tailgate party, and the pep rally on Sunday night, you are talking $490 per person. So that's your ticket to the game, right? And that's the Eagles coming into town, so that ticket's probably worth well over $100. And with the tailgate and the pep rally, you're talking about a total of 6 hours of open bar. 6 hours of open bar. With the tailgate, you also throw on the 3 hours of all you can eat, right? Ticket and tailgate only, $440 for the reasons I just mentioned. Tailgate and pep rally. Tailgate and pep rally. If you were to travel to Tampa Bay on your own, get your own hotel, and you know someone who's got tickets, or you're able to find your own ticket, and you just wanted to do the tailgate and the pep rally, that is only $185 for what equals 6 hours of open bar. That's a pretty sweet deal, especially when you're on the beach. All right. Drink prices aren't going to be cheap. Tailgate only, $115. Pep rally only, $75. Okay. So if you still want to go to Tampa, there's still options available for you to hang with us for the game day experiences and the pep rally and whatnot. But jump on it quick if you're on the fence, because those are not going to last long either. The information I just read off to you was as of last night. I don't know what today would bring. All other trips for the season still open for travel packages. That's Kansas City, Seattle, Dallas, Los Angeles, and the bye-week bender in Punta Cana. Went on that trip in 2020. Absolutely fantastic time. Amazing resort. If you've not been down there and you're thinking about pulling the trigger, that's the trip to do. Also, bus trips to New York for the game against the Giants and the game against the Jets, and a bus trip to D.C. to take on the Commodes. I keep telling you, book it. If any of those sound like you're interested in them, get on there and book it. Don't wait, because it will fill up and you will be left on the outside looking in. You know what they say, he who hesitates, I think you can finish the rest. Anyways, as far as us out here, the Midwest Eagles Nest preseason rally on Saturday, September 2nd, 4 p.m., just 10 days away now. Can't wait to see all of our regulars from last year and the newcomers we've picked up. I know there's one lady in particular who is very vocal. She is absolutely hysterical. And, but really overall, looking forward to getting back into our nest. Looking forward to seeing all the faces from last year and the new ones going to join us this year. When we get there, 4 p.m., the Ohio State Buckeyes game will be on. Okay, that game starts at 3:30. At 7:30, it will be Penn State versus West Virginia. So no need to try to mess with the TVs. We've got college football to take care of us. We will have wristbands available if you're interested. You can come see me. I will be set up at the back table in our nest sometime over the next week and a half before the day, or maybe even that day. I will take a Facebook Live in our group of me walking into the back porch and how to get down to our area and all that stuff, so you can see what I'm actually talking about. I will be set up in that back area at the back table with my family. We preach family. Bring the wife and kids. Bring the husband and kids. Bring the wife. Bring the husband. Bring whatever. Equal opportunity group here, folks. So come on out. Like I said, wristbands available if you're interested. I know there's a couple other things that we're working on, but I don't think we're quite there yet. We will have fan transfer forms available for anyone who wants to show up wearing Bengals. You'll put your name, your date of birth, your date of request. Reason for transfer could be either your current team is trash, your current fan base sucks, your significant other, or no one likes you and you don't care. You'll list the last team you were a fan of and who else you've been a fan of, and how long you plan to stay. 1 year, as long as your significant other makes you, or forever. And the disclaimer at the bottom: if you are a Dallas fan, this form is not for you. Please go disappoint your parents elsewhere. So we like to have fun. I will also have a sign-up sheet for the Cincinnati Cyclones game that we're trying to do on the bye week out here. No, we're not the Green Legion. Can't exactly throw together a trip to Punta Cana. Although if anybody in our group here is interested in any of those Green Legion trips, not quite sure how to handle it, all you have to do is ask, and I will be more than happy to walk you through it. Very simple, very easy. Working with Stephanie is absolutely is amazing. So no issues there. Anybody who wants to jump on it, just let me know, and I am more than happy to help. All right, that's the business end of things. I think and one more thing about the second, for anybody that's in our group that's watching now or watching later, listening later, whatever, I do have a bit of a funny surprise for that night. I don't want to give away too many details because I think it's going to be absolutely hysterical, but you don't want to miss it. So should be a good time. There you go. So I seen the room is clicking off here as always. Andrew Bagley, do any of the Eagles starters touch the field tomorrow night in the final preseason game? Man, I don't know. I mean, it looks like the Jets are going to play Rodgers a little bit, but that's him on a new team. At this point, I mean, last week was enough to scare the hell out of you with it seemed like we were dropping like flies. I don't know that I'd push it, right? I think I would, the idea is let's just stay healthy now, right? The season's just a couple of weeks away. No reason to risk anything. Lou Mancini says, my pop is home and cutting hair. All right. There's some good news. What is this? Keenan Harmon. Watching that big-ass head jerk back and forth was extremely entertaining. I'm assuming you're talking about unhappy headroom last week with the bad Wi-Fi. I'm glad you guys had fun with it because it was a little upsetting, but stuff happens. Russ Taylor in the room. What's up, bitches? Oh, that's right. Russ Taylor would like to remind everyone that one of the buses, I mentioned the bus trips to New York with the Green Legion, one of the buses will have strippers on it. Only 35 seats on that bus, though, and I don't know if there's any seats left available on it. But if there are, the ladies at cheerleaders. David Conant, he who hesitates does not get fruit cup. Yeah, sure, that's what we were going for. Keenan Harmon, if you fly to Tampa and sleep on the beach, you still won't get free bacon and waffles at the Hampton. Damn right. Looking forward to having breakfast with you guys, man. Looking forward to seeing you. Should be a great time. Will be a great trip. David Conant. Adam's doing the truffle shuffle on the second. No, Adam's actually down 18 pounds. So keep your comments to yourself there, fat ass. And Keenan Harmon, I will go down tomorrow night and test my seats out, section 108. All right. So last week we tried a new segment, and I'm going to keep rolling with it. It was kind of today in sports history, right? So I'm not going to go over the last week of it, just today's date. And I'll try to pick out some fun stuff, or keep it Philadelphia related if I can. But I've just got just a few of them this week before we get to the boner of the week. So all of you Eagle fans out there, get ready for the boner of the week, because I may or may not be talking about you. Anyways, today in sports history, we start in 1883. The Philadelphia Quakers make 27 errors against the Providence Grays in a 28-0 shutout defeat at Messer Street grounds. Wild pitches, walks, passed balls counted as errors in Major League Baseball prior to 1888, in case you were not aware. 27 errors, leading to a 28-0 defeat. I think Providence didn't go for two. What do we got here? Fly, Eagles, fly. Damn right, on the road to victory. Welcome in, my friend. Happy to have you with us. No, not the fans at the 49ers game, Russ. I'm talking about our own, some of our own. In 1936, 17-year-old Cleveland Indians and future Baseball Hall of Fame pitcher Bob Feller's debut game against the St. Louis Browns. He wins 4-1 at League Park in Cleveland, striking out 15. This is a 17-year-old kid, and he's facing this. I don't care who he was against. 17-year-old kid making his first professional start. He strikes out 15 guys. Pretty impressive. 1947, the first Baseball Little League World Series in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. The Maynard Midgets beat the Lock Haven All-Stars 16-7. And finally, to wrap it up, on this date in 1988, Mitch Green and Mike Tyson brawl at 4 a.m. in Harlem. All right. So what were you guys saying over here? Fly, Eagles, fly. Russ Taylor, boner of the week, the fans at the Niners game. No, not for me this week. Although that brawl was pretty funny. That skinny dude, I don't know what he was thinking. That big boy just comes out of nowhere and just starts just throwing bombs on this guy's head. It was like chopping him down. He falls backwards. They finally, did you see him when he got up? He looked like after Tim Anderson took the jaw shot from Ramirez. He got absolutely thumped. That was a brutal. I mean, for me, guy, look, and yeah, you want to put them as a candidate for boner of the week. I mean, you could. I chose to go a different route. But look, all about having a good time. All about, let's have some beers. Let's razz each other. But, when it goes past the point of just, picking at each other about, oh, my team just scored a touchdown or what, in your face or something. When it starts to get to stuff like that, where people are in each other's face or comments are made about somebody's mother or God forbid, their kids or their wife, people nowadays, and it happens more now than ever, a lot of that has to do with this. And that is because if you watch some of these videos, you remember the Phoenix Suns fan a couple of years ago, right? Suns in 4, where that younger kid started running his mouth and that dude just absolutely beat his ass. What's happening is you've gotten at least one entire generation of teenagers to adults who are able to run their mouths behind this without facing any repercussions, right? They do it so often that they feel like they can go do that that some of them make the mistake of feeling they can go do that wherever they want. And then they go into an atmosphere like a football game where they're mouthing off to a guy that would blend in with most linebacking cores. And it ends really badly for them, right? This isn't Joe Blow up on the corner here, right? This is not you're not hanging out at your local crack house anymore. You're not hiding behind your computer in mommy's basement. You're just running your mouth, only it's in real life now. And that's where that whole saying F around and find out really comes from. It's, you know, eh, half the people that run their mouth on social media, well, I'd like to think most of them, to be honest with you, would not dare say half the things they say if it was face to face real life. They just wouldn't. I choose to speak what's on my mind. Um, Sometimes I'm more careful with my words than others, but if I feel strongly about something, or if you have pissed me off, if you've offended me in some way, shape, or form, I really don't care how big you are. I will tell you to blow it out your ass. And if I get my rear end kicked for it, then so be it. But so these kids, they come out and they run their mouth, and then it's all back. Oh, I can't believe this. I'm going to sue you. It's just weak sauce. And I think some of that is what you're seeing with these stadium fights. I'm not saying that's exactly what happened in Frisco, but I am saying that I think that's a lot of what you're seeing. We see a lot of fights at stadiums. I think we're seeing a lot more of them now. Granted, we're seeing a lot more of it because people have the phone to be able to record it. But I do think it's happening more now as well. And not just inside the stadium. Tailgates get out of control. And you wonder why they want to cut back beer sales. It's the same reason why we have a police force. It's the same reason why you have standard operating procedures. It's the same thing. It's the same message. It's not there for the 98% of us that can behave ourselves. It's there for the 2% who can't. That's why you have cops. That's why you have prisons. That's why you have, leagues wanting to crack down on drinking. It all falls under the same thing. And a lot of it is aided by the fact that people, a lot of, especially younger folks, feel like they can get away with just running that yap to whoever, whenever. And, they pay the price for it. And it's going to continue. It's probably going to keep getting worse. So that's, I didn't mean to go down that rabbit hole there, but you brought it up, so figured we'd entertain it for a few. Keenan Harmon, boners of the week are the so-called Eagles fans calling for Mariota's head. You're on the right path, brother. Lou Mancini, online muscles. Yep, here we go. Russ Taylor, screen warriors. Yeah, keyboard warriors, brother. Never more prevalent than during when election time comes, right? Whenever there's, especially the presidential election, these people, they get absolutely insane. I can remember, and I have no trouble saying this, I can remember back in 2016, I had not even said that I was going to vote for Donald Trump. All I said was that I was never going to vote for Hillary Clinton. I just wasn't going to do it. And it has nothing to do with the fact that she's a woman. I think she's a psychotic, murderous person. So I will never vote for her. I was called things by folks that sit on a particular side of the fence that I couldn't even believe what was coming across my screen. It was at that point when I started to limit who could view my Facebook page, because I grew up in Connecticut. I grew up in the Northeast. I have a lot of friends who are left, I have some people that I know that are very far left. And I'm not saying it makes them bad people, but I think when you get too far left or too far right, you're both out of your mind. All right. It's just like people get into an argument. There's one side of the story, there's the other side of the story, and somewhere in the middle is the truth. And so you can apply that same line of thought to politics. There's this side, there's this side, but the people with the most sense are usually right around here. Okay. Not on, not dead in the middle, but close enough to it where you can see other people's point of view. Unfortunately, things are so divided now that we can't really have many intelligent conversations with folks if you don't see things the exact same way. And again, I blame a lot of social media for that. Regardless of what side of the fence you sit on, a lot of people tend to only go online and communicate with folks who see things exactly the same way they do. And so what that leads to is you do that long enough, you build in your head that you're never wrong. And then you get into a conversation with someone who does not agree with you and you don't know how to handle it. And unfortunately, a lot of the reaction is to just start spitting hate at each other, which I am not a fan of at all. Don't get me wrong. When provoked and pushed far enough, I'll participate. But for the most part, I choose to not. I'd rather have a conversation. I have no trouble calling out the candidate that I voted for twice. Is he a nice person? No, I didn't vote for him because he's a good person. I voted for him because he made sense to my freaking wallet. That's why I voted for him. Same type of stuff. Anyways, let's not go too far down that. We can talk politics some other time. Keenan Harmon and the generation you speak of never had an ass whooping from mom and dad. Yeah, that's another big part of the problem. There's no respect learned with inside the house, right? They're allowed to. I was just joking around with it with Captain Depps. Just not long before we came on the show on his Facebook post. The rolling the eyes, the breathing heavy when you're told to do something. These are all signs of disrespect that I don't tolerate in this house. The stuff that was not tolerated when I was growing up, and it's not going to be tolerated here. A lot of people just use this or the TV or this computer or whatever as a babysitter, and they don't pay attention to it, and it's terrible. All right, so let's get to the boner of the week, and you were on the right track. Who was it? Keenan Harmon hit the nail on the head for me. We've got a big problem with our own fan base, and this is where we're going with the boner of the week here. I can appreciate that Marcus Mariota has not looked good during the preseason. Okay, I'm not going to bury my head in the sand and be like, oh, you have no right to call him out for anything at all. I mean, he's 16 of 28, 144 yards, no touchdowns, one pick. He's been sacked 4 times with a QBR of 56.3. This is not good. It's toilet, no doubt, right? Keep in mind, he's also playing with the entire second string, sometimes third string. I'd like to believe he would look a lot better if Kelsey's snapping him the ball and he's got the unicorn Mailata and Lane Johnson as his bookend tackles. He's throwing passes to A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith and Dallas Goedert. He's handing it off to or dumping off screens to a 4-headed monster in the background out of the backfield. Yeah, I think Mariota would look a lot better if it was with the first string, but that's not what we want. Okay. So you Birds fans that are out there crying for us to just cut him or trade him or whatever, you're all insane. All of you. And I'm going to give you a few of my favorite quotes that I've seen over the last couple of weeks and then give you my reaction to said quotes. And you'll see why I'm calling out these people as the boner of the week. First one. Why did we give up Minshew for this guy? Well, for starters, he fits the overall offensive scheme better than Minshew did. Right? Did anybody watch those 2 games where Uncle Rico had to come in and start for us? We lost both of them. Did you notice how ineffective the run game? The run game was our bread and butter. Don't get me wrong. Jalen looked great throwing the ball, but the run game was easily our bread and butter. No question about it. Right? Sanders had 1,200 yards. Hurts had 13 touchdowns or 11 touchdowns, whatever the freaking number was. Bread and butter was out of the backfield. No question about it. Did you notice how ineffective that run game was with Minshew taking the snaps? For those of you out there who support the line of thought that we're going to freak out over Mariota being our backup and you don't really understand what football is supposed to look like, that's an RPO offense, and it does not work with a quarterback who moves like he's running in quicksand. If you just take a look, go back and watch these games. He's standing in the backfield with Sanders next to him. The snap comes to Minshew. There were numerous shots during the Dallas game from behind Mariota looking at the behind Minshew looking at the defense. There is nobody. Sanders is here. There is nobody defensively on this side of the field. Everyone is right out in front of Minshew. Well, I'm sorry. There's nobody in front of Minshew. Everyone's out in front of Sanders. Why? Nobody's worried about Minshew running anywhere. And even if he did take off, where's he going? He's not going anywhere. Against the Saints, did you happen to notice how dumbed down the playbook was? That's because Minshew couldn't run that offense. Yes, I realize his passing stats looked big in that Dallas game, but keep in mind he did toss 2 interceptions as well. And I'll tell you something else. He could have thrown 5 interceptions in that game if you remember how erratic a lot of his throws were. Dallas Goedert bailed him out on at least 1 or 2 occasions. Look, I like Uncle Rico. I think he's fun. I think the whole thing with his dad is a good time. But we are better served with a more athletic quarterback as our backup. Second quote. Ready for this one? Hate to say it, but Wentz is available. Are you kidding me? Carson Wentz? Carson Wentz. Most of you could not wait to get this guy out of Philadelphia. I defended him much longer than I should have, but at the end, I was ready for him to go too. We were all ready for him to be gone long before he was actually gone. Let's put it that way. Carson Wentz is available. So I'm not going to go into a whole big spiel here. I'm just going to say that I'll be perfectly honest and just tell anyone who supports this line of thought, you should not only have your head examined, but this should also lower your credit score by at least 50 points. Carson Wentz? Are you out of your mind? Out of your mind, Carson Wentz. You know, maybe it should be 100 points off your credit score just for even thinking it. Now, finally, we get to what I believe is the number one reason for this demented state. And somebody just said it. Bring back Nick Foles. Okay, look. I will love Nicky Foles until the day I die for what he did. But it was lightning in a bottle, okay? It was absolutely lightning in a bottle. He made 3 starts in the regular season after Wentz went down. He was really good in one, he was very average in another, and he was atrocious in another one, okay? The first playoff game that year was against Atlanta. Nick Foles was not good in that game either. Then he goes bananas against Minnesota, and of course, you know, he puts up the big numbers in the Super Bowl versus the GOAT and the Pats. But because of that run, we have this huge contingent of Birds fans out there who feel that a backup quarterback should be able to just waltz on out to the field and nothing changes. Look, kids, that's just not how it works. You got to remember back in 2017, Carson Wentz was on his rookie deal. We could afford to spend more in other areas. We're now paying Jalen Hurts as that QB1, as that elite level quarterback. So what does that mean? That puts us in the same boat with Kansas City, Buffalo, soon to be Cincinnati, the Chargers, the Ravens. All of these teams who have given the bag to their quarterback. It means we can't just go get another elite quarterback to back up our elite quarterback. This is not how the NFL works. It's why they have this thing called the salary cap, right, folks? You don't remember what a salary cap is? What you all need to get through your head, and I'm speaking to the folks who are crying about Mariota. What you all need to get through your head is that if Jalen misses significant time, it will be incredibly difficult for us to remain competitive, even with the other studs we have on offense, even with the revamped defense with all that talent. But especially considering what our schedule turns into after the first few games of the year. All right. We are in the same boat as all of the other teams that have an elite level quarterback getting paid top dollar. You've hitched your wagon to that quarterback. If he goes down and misses length and misses a lot of time, it's probably going to sink your season. Okay? That's the bottom line. So all of you need to calm the hell down. Maybe, when you go play your Madden football game, actually turn that salary cap on. You might learn a thing or two. It's actually pretty realistic. And, let's get ready for tomorrow night and see who we're going to go to war with come week 1. If you can't do that, well, then you remain the boner of the week for this week. All right. I think that was about as descriptive as I could get it. Yeah, I mean, you're all preaching. You're all saying the same thing I'm saying here. Russ Taylor, if Wentz was any type of good person, he would be on a team. You can tell he has a cancer because if you can play, you're on a team. But if you're a problem, the team won't follow you. It's exactly why he's not a starter anymore. Russ Taylor, again, having a statue of a player as they are still playing and have that as your backup, that would not be a good fit. Foles should go to Jacksonville and mentor Sunshine. Oh, yeah. I don't support bringing Nick Foles back at all. I love Nick. If you want to sign him to a one-day contract, let him retire as an Eagle, all in. I do not support bringing him back as a backup quarterback. And Andrew Bagley, thoughts on Jonathan Taylor rumors? Okay, so I'm going to address this the same way I just addressed the Mariota spaz people. Jonathan Taylor is not coming to Philadelphia. All right. I wholeheartedly believe that he is not coming to Philadelphia. I think that the Indianapolis Colts granted him permission to seek a trade, knowing full well that they were not going to accept the low compensation package that they're going to get offered. I'd be shocked if anyone offered more than a third-round pick for him. Now, he does have 1 year left on his rookie deal this season, but you look at the Eagles' blueprint. We do not invest high draft capital or high dollars in the running back position. If we were going to spend $5 to $6 million a year on one single running back, I think we would have just kept Miles Sanders. As it stands right now, I believe we are spending $5 to $6 million in total on the 4 running backs that we're going to go into the season with. The only question left is Rashad Penny or Trey Sermon. Gainwell, Scott, and Swift seem to be pretty well comfortable. That's my thoughts on the Jonathan Taylor thing. I just don't see it. Right? It's just not a position that we're not going to make that trade. Right? I mean, Indy's going to want at least a 2, if not a 1, for him, and there's no way how he gives them that. All right. Russ Taylor, keep it up and I'll send you more memes, Gilmore. Lou Mancini, Taylor Swift backfield would be pretty funny. Yeah, I saw those memes going around too. All right, at this point, I am going to go ahead and start doing this. I don't know if we have anyone out there that would be interested, but we're going to go ahead and start posting this up because if anybody wants to jump in and give their thoughts on what we're going to go over next, I'm more than happy to have you pop in. Totally up to you. As always, your call. If you prefer to just stay in the room and chat, that's fine too. If you prefer to just watch and listen, that's all right as well. So, Another thing we wanted to discuss tonight is the participation trophy stuff as it pertains to professional sports. All right. And I don't know where David Caliphate is, but he's not going to like this first part of it. So anybody who pays any slight attention to baseball knows that the Yankees are just a dumpster fire, right? No other way to cut it. And I know that's brings joy to everyone's heart that's not a Yankees fan. And I'm okay with that. I mean, I've been dealing with that my whole life. So it's all right. You guys deserve to be able to laugh at us. I don't take any offense to it. This past weekend, the Yankees were swept in dominant fashion, I might add, by our hated rival Boston Red Sox. In doing so, Boston pretty much put the nail in the coffin for the Yankee season. Not that there was much of a glimmer of hope with the way we've been playing anyways, but Boston really that sweep really just pretty much ended it. And rightfully, at the end of the sweep, the Red Sox fan base has been celebrating. I've gotten razzed by Red Sox fans. I've got Phillies fans, giving me shit. I've got Mets fans giving me shit, although Mets fans really shouldn't be talking too much smack either. But, and for the fans, it makes perfect sense. You should celebrate it. It's awesome. I think, well, it's not awesome for me, but it's awesome for you. It's the best rivalry in baseball and one of, if not the best rivalries in all sports altogether. When one side gets to deliver that freaking knockout punch, the fans should absolutely have fun at the other side's expense. And and Lord knows I've been on the right side of that for way more of my life than I've been on the wrong side of it as far as it goes with the Yankees. However, that, my friends, is for the fans. Not the players. Don't get it twisted here. I'm not saying the players shouldn't be pumped up about a series sweep over their biggest rival, knowing that they've pretty much ended our season. Sure, they should. They absolutely should. High fives. Maybe they go out and have a big night, whatever. Absolutely. But truthfully, this is a 3-game series in mid to late August, not October. This isn't the playoffs. So my issue is not the fans celebrating, sticking it in my face and every other Yankees fan's face. Lord knows we've earned it. It's not that the Red Sox players were jazzed up over it. Lord knows they've earned it. My issue is, apparently, a bunch of them, if not all of them, the Red Sox players, when they won on Sunday to complete that sweep, were spraying beer and celebrating in the locker room as if they had just won a playoff series. Guys, it's August, not October. And to be perfectly open, you're still 4 games out of a playoff spot yourself. That is overkill. That is participation trophy weak sauce. And in my opinion, that is indicative of a loser franchise. Nobody's telling you not to be jazzed up and have fun. But when you're in there popping bottles and spraying stuff around, acting like you're on your way to the World Series, that's overkill. And it's foolish. And it's stupid. And it makes you look awful. Especially when you're still 4 games out of a wild card spot yourself, with 2 teams you have to leapfrog to get there, one of them inside your own division. Again, to me, typical of a loser organization. But, and I'll post it again, that's not the only example. Okay, so I don't want anybody sitting here thinking I'm just being like a sore ass about the sweep over the weekend. It stunk, but I wasn't surprised. Go watch my Facebook Live, or at least listen to it. It's pretty dark. You can't really see much of me. Probably better anyways. I mean, who really wants to look at my mug all that long? You can at least hear what I'm saying. None of this comes as a surprise to me. I've been seeing. I could see this coming a few years ago, that this team was getting worse. Nobody wanted to hear it. No, we'll do this, we'll do that. Never happened. And here we are. So, but I don't want anybody thinking I'm just sour grapes over here. And it's not just the Red Sox with their, over celebrated August series sweep. I did use that as an example because it was easy, though. But they are not alone. I would like for someone, any of you, to please tell me why the hell that anyone cared that the Baltimore Ravens had a 24-game winning streak in preseason games. Can anyone explain to me why this is a big deal? Why any of us should give a damn? Right? Well, they haven't lost a preseason game since the Obama administration. Who cares? It's the preseason. What is Harbaugh like purposely leaving his starters out there for a little longer just so that they can get some reps against guys who are going to be bagging groceries next week? 24-game preseason winning streak. Please. Seriously. Yesterday morning, I wake up, it's all the rage on the Morning Drive Sports Talk that it was the Commodes that ended this monumental 24-game winning streak. And of course, I started surfing around. I went to sleep early. I started surfing around. It's all over the place. People, yay! Dude, it's a preseason game. The Eagles are about to be 0-3 in the preseason after tomorrow night. Anybody concerned? Anybody really care? Or are you more concerned with what does the roster look like going into the regular season when it actually matters? As Crash Davis from Bull Durham would say, it's a dubious honor. Meaning what? Meaning who cares? Who cares? And now we want to make a huge deal of that it was Sam Howell tossing 2 TDs in a preseason game. Cool. Right? I'm just shaking in my boots for when we got to play the Commodes because Sam Howell tossed 2 touchdown passes in a preseason game against the Baltimore Ravens. I don't even know how I'm going to cope with it. It's literally going to keep me up at night. I won't sleep until I know that we can beat the Washington Commodes. Please. Anybody happen to go look at that game, actually? It was Jake Fromm that threw the touchdown pass that got the Commodes within 2 and enabled that kicker to have a shot at that game-winning field goal. It wasn't Sam Howell. Get the hell out of here. That kicker making that 49-yarder, you want to make a big deal out of that because he got an opportunity to prove that he can. Now, don't get me wrong, he got one job, but he got that opportunity and he delivered. That's okay. I can get with that. But the fact that there was a 24-game preseason winning streak, who cares? And I care even less that it's the freaking Commodes that snapped it. Let it be I don't know. Let some semi-pro teams see if they can take a crack at it. I mean, give me a break. Ridiculous. Participation trophies. Boston Red Sox are spraying booze around a locker room because they swept the series in late August while still being 4 games out of a playoff spot. The whole world's jumping all over the freaking Ravens because they just had their 24-game preseason win streak snapped. Here, I got like a little trophy up over here. Where's that one? Need Quimby. Where's Quimby with that little tiny trophy? He can mail it to these idiots. Drive me absolutely insane. All right. Let me hop over to the room here before we move on to our final portion of the show. Russ Taylor, so you know the real reason why they can't have Lizzo at the Super Bowl halftime show? Oh, Las Vegas has rules and regulations against blimps over the city. Nice. Russ Taylor, which dumpster fire is worse, the New York Metropolitans or the New York Yankees? Sir, I will kindly ask you to go watch my Facebook Live from this morning. I explained that. It's easily the New York Yankees. We can have a separate conversation about that another time. maybe when it gets to the end of the baseball season. But I'm about tapped out on being able to rant about the Yankees anymore. It's the same crap over and over and over again. What else we got here? Lou Mancini, whippets and cocaine would be Keenan Harmon, the Ravens do well on the quiz and flunks in the final exam. Well, I mean, they did get one Super Bowl a decade ago, but whatever. All right. So we're going to post this just probably one more time here in case anybody's interested. But let's close the show with our beloved Birds, right? I ripped a whole bunch of our fan base who's freaking out about Mariota, and I do couple the Jonathan Taylor people into that as well. But let's move on to some positives. So the other day, we had joint practice with the Colts this week, as we'll face them in our final preseason game tomorrow night. Kenny Gainwell was apparently getting thrashed by Colts linebacker Zaire Franklin the other day, and apparently it was getting a little bit overboard. Like Gainwell not the biggest guy, 5'8", and this is a linebacker who I guess appeared to be getting a little too aggressive during a practice session. So Jason Kelce took offense to it and sprinted across the field. I heard some reports where it said he ran 50 yards. He'd had enough watching his running back get bullied and apparently splattered Franklin all over the ground to the point where both sidelines rushed the field, leaving Coach Nick and new Colts head coach Shane Steichen to cut the joint practice short. You want to talk about awkward, right? I mean, Nick and Shane are like the best of friends, right? Steichen was obviously our OC last year, earned the job in Indianapolis, and he's over there now. And these two guys have to break apart these teams. I would have loved to have seen that. I wish I could have been there to see some of that. But how do you not love Jason Kelce for that, right? Just absolutely fair. Yeah, Keenan, nail on the head, brother. Kelce for mayor, right? But Kelce afterwards, here's his quotes. Okay. Quote, "We try and keep things civil on the field, and I think for me, I pride myself on being a guy that sustains the emotion and the level of play out there, and I did let my emotions get the better of me. That certainly doesn't belong out there on the field, and a little bit of shame that it got to that level and that I did what I did. So I'm certainly not happy about that." So, I mean, all the respect in the world for Kelce owning up to it, but, and tell me if I'm alone here, isn't there at least a little part of you that just would have loved to see him come out and be like, "Oh, screw that guy." I respect Kelce though for not going that route. It just would have been fun to hear. Let's get some more bullets from the practice here before we wrap it up for the night. Zaire Franklin and A.J. Brown. So some bullets from the practice that kind of led up to the brawl. Zaire Franklin and A.J. Brown were apparently getting into it after Brown snared a crossing route before Franklin shoved the star receiver a little bit too hard. So Brown apparently took some problem with that. From there, Jalen Carter slapped the football away from Colts rookie quarterback Anthony Richardson before Derek Barnett probably went a little too far when it came to bumping Richardson. That led to a bit of a shoving match between Barnett and Colts lineman Bernard Raymond and others. Side note on that, we do not need Derek Barnett to come back on the field and start costing us 15 yards every week with stupid penalties. The guy's plenty talented enough to not have to do dumb stuff like this. So hopefully he gets it out of his system before the season starts. Just needs to let his talent do the talking. Not everyone on the Colts was in a forgiving mood with Kelce. Indianapolis defensive end Dayo Adeyingbo called the veteran Yankees center a word that begins with a B and rhymes with witch. Yeah, you know what? Cool story, tough guy. But did you say it to his face? Not really sure how well that would work out for you. Lou Mancini, you cannot find his Kelly Green jersey anywhere. I'm going to tell you what, brother. Um, I've got a connection, and I'm waiting for my jersey to come in. When it does come in, if the quality is as good as people say it should be, I will hook you up with that guy, and we'll see if we can't get you that Kelsey jersey. All right. Another bullet. We saw the first trick, so now we get kind of the practice stuff. We saw the first trick play of camp when Gainwell completed a halfback option pass to backup tight end Grant Calcaterra after the Colts defense bit on the Gainwell run. Funny part about this, Jalen Hurts admitted that the play came from Shane Steichen, but the offense never took it out of the bag last year. So that must have been fun for the Birds. The highlight, Andrew Bagley, what do you have here? Is it true the Kelly Green authentic jerseys are 200? They probably are, bud. I have a closet full of jerseys, and now I have another one coming on the way. My wife would tell you I probably have a bit of a problem, but they probably are 200. Captain Demp's in the room. How you doing, my friend? He says you're late. Brother, anytime you're willing to give, we're always happy to see you. So thank you very much for dropping in. Next bullet from practice. The highlight of the day was back-to-back receptions by Devonta Smith with Darrell Baker in coverage. First, the third-year receiver high-pointed the football on a go route down the right sideline, essentially mossing Baker. Love to hear that. After that, Baker was playing off in the red zone, and Hurts delivered a perfect back shoulder fade to Smith for the touchdown. Guys, the more you hear about the way this first string offense looks in these joint practices, they sound like they're out there having fun. The first string defense, and I'm telling you now, everything you're hearing, Jalen Carter sounds like he is going to be a massive problem for a lot of people this year. They're going to have to figure out how to double team him, or he is going to eat people's lunch. Final couple bullets here. The safety situation opposite Reed Blankenship is only getting murkier, and Terrell Edmonds, Sidney Brown, and Justin Evans all got first-team reps. Edmonds started the practice, but Brown made the biggest splash with a big hit to break up a Richardson pass to Mo Alley Cox. While no flag was thrown, an official had a long conversation with Brown, who may have been penalized for lowering the helmet in a real game. So appreciate the sorry, there's something flying around in here. I appreciate the ref pulling him aside and trying to teach the rookie a lesson rather than, anything worse. Hopefully he takes it to heart, learns from it, and moves on. And then finally on the bookkeeping front, the Eagles that did not practice the other day were receivers Britton Covey with his hamstring, Greg Ward with his ankle, edge rushers Kyron Johnson due to an appendectomy, Hassan Reddick with his thumb, and Nolan Smith with the shoulder, although it sounds like Nolan Smith is going to be okay. Andrew Bagley, the more I see of Nolan Smith, the more I love this kid. Absolutely agreed. He's got a motor that doesn't turn off. He is the perfect guy to back up Hassan Reddick. Reddick is the perfect guy for Nolan Smith to learn from. Very similar styles. And defensive tackle Moro Ajomo had with his concussion. All in all, everything we hear from the first string continues to sound, really, really well. And that's who we're going to win games with, right? We talked about with the Mariota part. If we end up having to rely on too many backups, the season's not going to go well. All right. You want to hear that the starters are healthy and doing good things. If Jalen misses significant time, the season is not going to be pretty. Let's, we get to tomorrow night. We want to finish up the preseason healthy, figure out those last few roster spots, get that running back spot ready. We're not going in the season with 5 guys. So If you're attached to either Penny or Sermon, get ready to lose one of them. Figure out those last few roster spots and get ready for another big season of Philadelphia Eagles football, right? I mean, who the hell can't get excited for that? All right, I am going to hop back over to the room just one more time before we call it a night. William Dents, Captain Dempst is saying yes, authentic replica, $200. So thank you for confirming that, Cap. We can always count on Cap for not just that sort of thing, but when it comes to the game days, he's pretty much got the most up-to-date information on what the color scheme that our birds are wearing each week. Green on white, black on black, whatever the case may be. I know we're all looking forward to the Kelly Green week. I do have a Dawkins Kelly Green on the way. Hopefully the quality's good. And like I said, Lou, if it is, I'll try to hook you up with the guys, see if we can't get you taken care of with a Kelsey jersey. Anyways, folks, for everyone in the room, Captain Debs, Andrew Bagley, Lou Mancini, Russ Taylor, Keenan Harmon. Who else did we get in here? David Connett. I think that was the crux of it. We did not see David Califoot tonight and a couple other folks that we usually see, but that's okay. Everybody's got a life of their own as well. Folks, and for everyone who watched, listened, commented, everyone who gives us any piece of their time every single week, we thank you as always for joining us. Come back again next week. And maybe we'll be back at the back porch, hopefully with some better Wi-Fi than we had this past last Wednesday. But always looking to have a good time. Bringing football back to the fold. When we get to next week, we'll be just days away from the Midwest Eagles Nest preseason get-together and just a week and a half away from kickoff when we march up into New England and smash the Pats on Tom Brady Love Fest night. Until then, everyone, take care. Enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy the upcoming weekend. If you're in the hot weather like I am right now, try to stay cool. Make sure you hydrate. Have a good time. And as always, go Birds! All right, everybody. That's going to wrap it up for me. I am starving. You guys take care. We love you. Have a good